Andrew and Tristan Tate have been arrested by the federal government, and the fallout has hit the internet hard. It looks like both of the brothers have lost the support of the Trump administration, or they're just so incompetent that they forgot to protect them. But they have been arrested by U.S. Marshals pending extradition to the UK. The UK's Crown Prosecution Service said it had authorized additional charges against the brothers involving four further alleged victims and requested their extradition from the United States. Andrew Tate faces 7 additional counts of rape, 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation, 3 counts of assault occasioning actual bodily harm, and 19 charges related to indecent images of a child and extreme pornography. These are incredibly serious charges. Tristan Tate, his brother, faces a count of sexual assault, 2 counts of rape, and 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation. These alleged offenses occurred between July 2010 and August 2017, according to Newsweek. Both Tates have denied any wrongdoing, and after their arrest, Joseph McBride, their lawyer, told Newsweek, "The world knows Andrew and Tristan are innocent. We are confident that once a competent judge sees the facts, and once the Department of Justice confronts this egregious abuse of its own authority, Andrew and Tristan Tate will walk free," McBride said. "America does not do British political dirty work." This is so silly because all of these charges stem from a time before either brother was that famous. They've been openly running away from these charges. That's why they said they moved to Romania. There's also the Romanian charges. So I don't know, are the Romanians doing the work of the British government too? Malcolm McAfee, head of the Special Crime Division at the Crown Prosecution Service, said, "We have decided to prosecute Andrew and Tristan Tate for further offenses, including rape, arranging, or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation, and offenses relating to indecent images of a child." This all happened about a week and a half ago. There have been some updates. Also, according to Newsweek, Andrew Tate has launched a public campaign against the conditions of his detention in Miami, claiming he's being held in isolation, forced to drink contaminated water, and housed next to an inmate who screams throughout the night as he fights extradition to the United Kingdom. I think they called him a cannibal. How would you know he's a cannibal? I don't get it. The complaints came as brothers face what could become a lengthy court battle, whether they should be transferred to Britain to face allegations of rape and sex trafficking they have long denied. He's somehow posting on X. Andrew Tate is somehow posting on X. I don't know how. I guess he's calling somebody and telling him what to post, but that seems strange to me. He apparently posted, "Day 8 in SHU, Special Housing Unit." One post stated, "This is punitive housing for people who murder their cellmates." I mean, listen, you're not going to be catching me defending the prison industrial complex, but it's not exactly right. It's for people who need to be segregated from general population. And some people do because they are high profile. Anyways, in another message, Tate claimed he had no commissary, no visits, no contact with the outside world. He also described his housing conditions in dramatic terms, writing, "My neighbor is a cannibal who screams throughout the night." Well, I mean, just let him eat you then. Maybe you should just let him eat you there, Andrew. The posts have drawn millions of views and become some of the most widely shared updates since his arrest. Tate's attorney, Joseph McBride, said outside court this week that Tate is not personally accessing social media while detained. Yeah, because he'd get in trouble for that. Instead, McBride said Tate relays messages through permitted communications with his legal team, which then publishes them online. Yeah, I'm not so sure what the court's gonna think about that. I don't know. Okay, anyways. The Bureau of Prisons said inmates can be moved to SHU for numerous reasons, including administrative detention, classification reviews, transfer status, investigations, or safety concerns. Most inmates are placed in the SHU for administrative detention, the agency told Newsweek. Again, you won't catch me defending, the SHU. in prisons. But like, yeah, it's not exactly what Tate is describing it as. Tate has also apparently made some claims about dirty water in the prison. Again, it's not that I don't believe it, it's that this is the worst person to be talking about prison reform. In one post, he wrote that his cell faucet was broken and alleged, "My water comes from the shower, warm and brown and filthy faucet." Yeah, I mean, I believe that. I absolutely believe that. Two things can be true at once, though. I don't think Andrew Tate is innocent because the conditions in prison are poor. But I think I'm ideologically consistent on this. They shouldn't be in poor conditions. They should be in prison, don't get me wrong. Like, they should be locked up. They're public safety hazard. They need to be rehabilitated if they can be, you know? But, like, I'm not going to defend the Bureau of Prisons, you know? This is the same federal government and a lot of the same companies that run the ICE concentration camps. So
Video shows the moment notorious social media influencers Andrew and Tristan Tate were arrested in Miami Saturday after prosecutors in the UK announced dozens of new charges.
would you believe me if I said a good chunk of the discourse about this guy is the ridiculous clothes he's wearing during his arrest? Of course you do, because you're not blind, probably. You can see his capri pants and very open purple blouse. Yeah, obviously, your fit is really bad if you're being arrested for sex crimes. And it's not all that people can talk about, but a good chunk of what people are talking about is how ridiculously you are dressed.
Charges against the brothers.
Those charges should have included the crime against humanity of wearing those fucking outfits, dude. What am I looking at? Are you gonna call yourself an alpha male, then get hauled off to jail in clothes you found in the women's section at Dillard's? Are those Capri
We're all simultaneously having the same thought at the same time. Maybe there is some solidarity in America.
pants?
I also just want to say, Andrew Tate, as if you haven't tried enough to really fuck women up, you've now managed to ruin capri pants for us in the middle of summer. Thank you so much. I'm gonna give this look a 1 out of 10. I'm just giving it 1 because I'm enjoying thinking of the fact that he's being detained in those trousers right now.
Did they apprehend Andrew by rubbing the lamp he was in? Might be a controversial take, but I really think Hillary Clinton wore it better. And look, much has understandably been said about Andrew's questionable fit choice, but don't let this shiny purple blouse and whatever is going on here distract from the questionable fit that his brother Tristan is rocking right next to him. Are we just supposed to ignore that he looks like he's about to rob a bank in the 1920s? If your goal is to make people...
Yeah, Tristan does look like an Al Capone goon. And this is one of the most important things about this story is that Andrew and Tristan Tate have been bragging about their various crimes over the years. They openly talk about how they use the lover boy method to manipulate women, and it kind of seems like underage girls into doing sex work for them, and then also withholding money from them while they did it. It's pretty classic tactics for sex trafficking, just with the added bonus of a webcam. They've been bragging about this, teaching other people how to do it. So getting out of these charges is going to be a pretty tough sell for any jury or judge or however it works over there in jolly old England.
to prosecutors, citing procedural issues. Romania lifted the brothers' travel ban in 2025, prompting them to take a private jet to Florida. Almost immediately upon touching down, though, the state attorney general opened up an investigation of his own, writing that based on a thorough review of the evidence, I've directed the Office of Statewide Prosecution to execute search warrants and issue subpoenas in the now active criminal investigation into the Tate brothers.
Yeah, look, these guys have themselves publicly admitted to participating in what very much appears to be soliciting, trafficking, preying upon women around the world. Many of these victims coming forward, some of them minors, people can spin or defend however they want, but in Florida, this type of behavior is viewed as atrocious. We're not going to accept it. They chose to come here and set their feet down in this state, and we're going to pursue every tool we have within our legal authority to hold them accountable.
Exceedingly rare.
We all might owe Florida an apology. They have at least gotten one sex criminal arrested in a pretty patchy history. No, but in all seriousness, the Attorney General here is saying exactly what I said. Andrew and Tristan Tate have been admitting to this stuff for years. They've been bragging about it. It's their whole brand. And he's just outright saying it. We'll get to some of the things they've actually said here. Let's take a look.
Florida W? Even Ron DeSantis, a guy who I hate to give any sort of credit whatsoever, signaled at the time that the Tate brothers were not welcome in the state of Florida. The Tates swiftly returned to Romania, insisting that innocent men don't run from anything. Andrew also...
It's actually kind of odd that Ron DeSantis was critical of the Tate brothers because he loves protecting Donald Trump, the biggest sex offender, or at least the most powerful sex offender, probably in the world.
Also dismissed the Florida investigation by telling the media that I am investigated everywhere on the planet because I am one of the most important people on the planet. I think the overwhelming majority of the planet would probably disagree with you on that, but it's good to see you staying humble.
Yeah, here are some clips of them bragging about the business they're in, which sounds a lot like sex trafficking.
Camera.
I think I have another thing that people find interesting about me is how I get, it's not that I just get females. How do I get females to comply? How do I get females to work for me for free and give me all the money? I think that's one of the appealing things.
That's illegal. That's called slavery, Andrew. Good job. Hopefully you will be going to prison for that.
Things I have is when guys understand and give me all the money. I think that's one of the appealing things I have is when guys understand that I do have a cam business and I do have girls who obey me. They ask guys. I don't like the answer because the answer is you have to cut the ones who don't obey and you have to be ruthless and you have to be a man. But then when you start telling them that, they're like, oh, I'm not man enough to do that.
So, I'm sure that'll all look good in court.
Not man enough to do that or not monstrous enough to do that. You are a monster.
When defending your innocence, you always want there to be numerous clips out there of you explicitly stating all the ways in which you are a pimp.
I was all about trying to get paid. Like I used sex as a tool to make women love me so they'd obey me and live in my house and make me money. That's what I wanted. So I was a pimp in that sense.
Playboy.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard to make a case against you, my man. Holy crap. He's just been saying this stuff for years, openly.
To make me money. That's what I wanted. So I was a pimp in that sense.
Playboy, pimp.
I'm happy with those labels so far.
But the majority of my money wasn't made in fighting. My money was actually made in the pimp game.
Only 13-year-old idiot boys think being a pimp is cool. Interestingly, a lot of the people who were in your audience, Andrew, how about that? Luckily, I believe most of them grew up and grew out of your bullshit. Perhaps even your one benefactor who was keeping you out of jail, Baron Trump, even is done with your bull crap.
Understand some basic concepts to the pimp game. Basic concepts to the realities between men and women.
Women need a man to do OnlyFans. It's the same reason a woman need a man to do anything, because they're incompetent and they're very, very lazy.
When you're pimping bitches.
Oh, right. Women are stupid, right. Not like you who goes around admitting to crimes they've done in broad fucking daylight. Yeah, no, you're really smart. You're a really smart person.
Like me, it's a full-time job. So yeah, on corporatetape.com I have my PhD program, and that is PhD is a pimp and hose degree that
I'm sure he's just joking though, right?
I became a multi-millionaire. I did this by creating a webcam studio, by taking girls who didn't know how to be effective on webcam, girls who had never done webcam before, girls who didn't have the equipment, didn't have the know-how, didn't have the will, didn't have the premises.
Right, so you groomed them into it. That is the point here. You groomed them into doing sex work for you, and you also lied and stole from them. Again, all alleged, but that's what you did. And there are very credible accusations of forcible sexual assault that you've done as well. So it doesn't even stop at that. And the charges also include what? Indecent exposure of a minor? You have possession of CSAM material on your phone, I believe. So it's so far beyond just having a webcam business. It's classic predator techniques used for sex trafficking. It's financial abuse. It's coercion. And it's disgusting.
Didn't have the ability to make money with this exchange. I created a system that allowed me to convince girls to do this, allowed me to retain 100% control of their income, allowed me to make sure they were effective, because it's a super competitive industry. Don't think this is easy money. You're just going to put a girl on the camera and they're going to get rich straight away. No, it's very competitive and it's very difficult. I learned every tip and trick it takes to make sure a girl gets paid. I know how to make sure the girl can't run away. Because once you teach a girl how to do this, she has the ability to make unlimited money from home. Why would she still give it to you? Why would she just run off and keep it all for herself? Why are you getting your percentage? I learned how to do everything to take a nobody.
He's like, I learned how to profit off of their labor even though I'm contributing nothing. He's saying it. He's like, they could go off by themselves and make all the money by themselves. They don't even need me. So how do I force them, coerce them, manipulate them into staying? It's insane. So Secretary of State Marco Rubio has also been asked about this, as well as Trump. But I actually think that Marco Rubio's response to the Tate's lawyer was the most interesting thing. Let's take a look at what his lawyer said.
Extradition hasn't happened yet, and while U.S. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt has said that the Trump administration will not intervene in the affair, Joseph McBride, the longtime attorney of the Tate brothers and several January 6 rioters, just figured I'd point that out, told TMZ something else. Miss Leavitt is great, but she is not the president or the Secretary of State. There is no extradition without the Secretary of State's signature. Until that signature exists, it's all commentary. So what has the Secretary of State said?
One of the Tate brothers' lawyers mentioned you by name. Do you have a plan to get involved with the extradition challenge that they have been...
Mention me by name?
Yes.
Oh.
Listen to the absolute weaselly non-answer he gives to this question.
No, look, that extraditions, I don't know the details of this particular case. I've been overseas, but I mean, I know who you're talking about. I just don't know the details of it. These cases have a process that they go through in the courts. My understanding is that they're involved in that judicial process. And so that'll play itself out at this point. And there's no role for us to play at this moment or maybe ever in that regard. But I'm not going to opine on something that's still working through a legal process.
Okay, well, that's
cool,
a
man.
peculiar little non-statement there. Hey, man, they're accused sex traffickers being charged by the UK with, among other things, 19 charges for offenses relating to indecent images of a child and extreme pornography. You are the U.S. Secretary of State, and you can't stand up right now and say, yes, these two monsters will be extradited. What's so hard about saying that? Though to be fair, it's not like the Trump administration has been all that averse to the Tate brothers in the past. I mean, for God's sakes, the vice president follows them on Twitter, while the Donald has never been pictured with or reported to have met with Andrew.
One more thing I want to show you, because though, yeah, a lot of people like Myron Gaines and Patrick Bet-David have been defending him, and they sound absolutely ridiculous. Take a look.
Basis of being on their side.
Tate bragged about pimping girls, even at 15 years. On camera. Not once but multiple times, and sold his methods to other guys.
It's all political. That's all political. This is all just pearl clutching over... You're just letting them win with political persecution. Okay? But this time they're
By going after a sex criminal. Okay.
actually guilty. It's like, so what? He's one of our... But this time they're actually guilty. It's like, so what? He's one of ours. He's on... If you guys can't understand...
The person charged with very severe sex crimes who's just been arrested is one of yours? Okay, man, it's a pretty stark admission. Nick Fuentes basically just being like, yeah, he's guilty, but I don't care. He's one of ours. Wild.
And that, then... You're just not ready for politics.
But after the Hitler ex-clavicular club incident from earlier...
Reminds me of when Republicans are saying, grow up, when people didn't want a rapist on the Supreme Court.
This year, none of that should be particularly surprising. What I didn't totally expect to see, but probably should have, was a Patrick Bet-David, Mr. Valuetainment, Mr. Numbers Guy himself.
Patrick Bet-David had the wildest take, though. Take a listen.
Going out of his way to defend the Tates for fighting the good fight. What fight would that even be?
For us to expect and look at Tristan and Andrew as their Jesus and they walk on water, that's not my standard of anybody. I learned a long time ago.
Dude, Jesus is not your standard, fine, but does your standard not include not being sex pests? Like, I don't get this. What do you mean? Two people you've praised in the past and are praising right now were arrested for sex crimes, and you're like, oh, well, I don't hold them to such a high standard. A high standard of not being a sex trafficker? Like, what?